Welcome. This is the Bird's Eye View. I am the War Duck, and I am here with the lovely Mr. Krow. He is back today.
Hey everybody, good to see you.
And we came across a headline, which is something I know very much about. So we thought we'd cover it. So this article is forget the lines. You may be able to renew your passport online. This is part of President Biden's executive order. So that's where this stems from. And
That's
I
where
will
that comes
tell
from.
you, the Department of State has this priority above everything else.
Oh, really? This
This,
is top priority.
this in putting an X for gender X in the passport instead of male and female. Those are the two top priorities. I'm not lying.
Oh my
So,
God.
yeah. I can't get into the rest
Ah,
of
that's
it
interesting.
because, yeah. Anyway, so,
I just realized too, I was reading over this article or glancing over the article, and it says that your passport's good for 10 years. I thought it was for
yes.
7.
No.
So if it's for 10, you guys got tons of time to catch up before I renew
So,
mine.
so if you're a child, your passport. If you get your passport before you're 16 years old, it's only
Uh-huh.
good for 5 years,
Okay.
and you must do the DS11 original form to get a new one till after you're 16.
Okay. That
After
makes
you're
sense.
16, it goes to 10 years, and then you can use the DS82 renewal form.
Okay.
Okay. This currently, the online passport renewal program is only a pilot. They're in
Yeah.
they're in the middle stages of this pilot. They did where they allowed they started with like government folks, people within the department trying to do the online stuff. Then they went to a pool of civilian applicants and closed that off once they got the amount. I think it talks about that in here somewhere. Yeah,
They reach a
so
certain amount.
so the Department of State ran a pilot in August for 25,000 members of the public. It took 10 days for the limit to be hit.
Wow.
In February, the department tested the system for federal employees and contractors. If this program, okay, there is no if. This program will be successful because there's no other option. Like, it's not if it doesn't work, let's scrap it. That's not happening.
No,
This will go forward. There's no and if buts about it.
if it doesn't work, you've got to figure out a solution to make
Yeah,
it
it'll
work.
work. It's just a matter of may not look like it currently looks. But right now, it
Yeah.
currently, for the most part, is working. There's been a couple tiny hiccups here or there, but
Okay.
so far it's working. That's why they're doing a much larger pool this time. Like
Hmm.
I can't explicitly tell you the amount, but it is significantly larger than the 25,000. So we'll just say if 25,000 took him 10 days, this will probably take at least a month-ish.
Okay.
So, all right. Let's see. What else is there?
That's
Um,
interesting though. So you're filling out the application basically online
mhm.
and submitting that. How does it? What about the physical document stuff like your social? Sometimes you needed a birth certificate
Okay,
or
okay. So
that kind
this
of
is
stuff.
this is
How do you do that?
only a renewal program.
Okay, so you don't have to provide that kind of stuff
So this is not a
in the renewal.
first-time application program. This is
Okay.
renewal only. Your passport has to be. I think there's a. Let's go over their list of what you're required to have here. Okay. So your most recent passport must be valid. Must have been valid for 10 years, right? So you had to have gotten your passport after you were 16. Well, this actually, there's another
Yeah.
stipulation in there. It says you have to be 25 or older. Okay, so if you're over
Yeah.
25 and your passport was issued, let's see, yeah, if you're if you're over 25, then you had the 9 years before that when you could have got your passport. right? It was about to be expired.
But it,
So you had
yeah.
to have it after you were 16 years old. No, you had to apply for it after you were 16.
Okay.
It could not have been limited for any reason. It must be valid for 10 years.
Okay.
Okay. It must have been issued. This says between 9 and 15 years ago.
That's weird.
So,
Okay.
so the part of this is the passport itself is valid for 10 years, right? But you
Yeah.
can renew that passport up to the 15-year mark.
Oh.
So
Okay.
5 years
Yeah.
after it expires, you can still renew it.
You just can't use it. Okay.
Okay. All right. So, right. So it has to have been issued between 9 and 15 years ago. So let's see here. 'Cause I don't want to do math in my head and have it be wrong on stream. We'll just go this way. So,
2007.
yeah. So if you got your passport after 2007, it was a 10-year valid passport. You are over 25 years old. You are not
Currently.
making any changes whatsoever on this application, meaning you can't change your name with the marriage or anything like that.
That's the
You can't
okay.
change your gender. You can't change your date of birth, which you kind of can't anyway. And you can't change your place of birth, which you kind of can't anyway.
Yeah.
You can correct it if one was made a mistake, but that's not. But yeah, not with this. Okay. You are not traveling out of the country for at least 6 weeks from when you submitted your application. That's kind of a minor thing. And you're
That's kind of
applying for a regular tourist passport and you live in the U.S. Sorry, Canada. We can't help you. All right. So there's some things about this. So the reason they don't want you to change your name with marriage or gender, date of birth, place of birth, everything, is because this pilot is kind of basic, right?
Yeah.
When you put in the information and they get that passport information, they want to be able to match it up and then go from there. No changes. Right? Okay.
A one-to-one, basically.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm trying to think of how this is a very so my web development kind of background is kicking in where I'm like, this is pretty basic.
Yeah.
Yeah. This is a public beta thing is
Yeah,
what they're
it
doing.
basically is. It basically is.
Yeah.
It took them a while to figure out. Well, never mind. I'm gonna get to it. Okay, so I gotta be careful how much I say, so I try to filter myself here. So you're not traveling out of the country for at least 6 weeks, and here's part of the thing is because we are also transitioning to a new passport product, a new book type, right? That is replacing the old book type. We're in the middle of that transition also.
Interesting.
But remember, OPR, Gender X are the top priorities. All right.
Mm-hmm.
So if something were to happen in this pilot where they run into a hiccup or it doesn't print right or something, this is why they don't want you to try to do this right before you travel.
Yeah.
Right. They want to make sure that they can process it easily without having to mess around with trying to figure out where it is to hurry up and print it because somebody's leaving tomorrow or something like that. This is just you're not traveling. In fact, I would tell you if you're traveling within the next 90 days, I would steer clear from this. Just do the regular process and get your passport back and just steer away from this because you never know what can happen. And the last thing you want to do is get caught where you're like, oh, okay, you know what? I'm going to back up even further. Passport people, I'm telling you right now, do not make your damn trips until you have your passport in your hand.
I was just gonna. That's
Yeah.
kind of how I look at it.
Just
Is
don't
I usually
stop
have
it.
it in my hand. Yeah.
Just stop it. Just stop doing it. Just get your passport first, then make your trip
And make
plans. My
plans.
God, dude, these people. Okay, just.
Then you end up just calling, and guess what? Your priority does not mean
Oh
my
my God, dude.
priority.
No, what they,
Oh my god.
if they have money, they Congressman, help me! I can't. I applied for my passport yesterday, and I'm supposed to travel in 3 days, and it's like,
Right.
man, God. Anyway, okay,
Squeaky wheel.
yeah. All right. So anyway,
It works.
don't do this as you're traveling. If you just want to renew, go ahead and renew. I'll tell you right now, until the end of the year, you probably have a 75% chance of getting the old style book. So
Oh, okay.
there's that. Hopefully by the end of the year, we'll be completely transitioned into the new book, but that's still happening. So
Are they going to announce the new book, or like what's
they did.
going
They
in
did
it?
already.
Or? Oh, they did.
Yeah,
Okay.
it was because they've been printing these for a year now, about almost a year. Maybe last November was the first one, ish. I can't remember. I can't remember now. But they're out there. Like people have gotten them all over the place. They made an announcement about them. This has been a long time coming. We're now in the like. I think there's one more agency that. Well, by the time this video comes out, all agencies will now have access and will now have the new printers.
Ah, okay.
So, but that doesn't mean you will get a new book because there's still the old books in the system, and so you just get whatever book you get at this point. Like there's no way for you to know which one you're going to get.
Unless you have enough money in school, enough.
No, even then, there's no way to like. So actually, the only way I could guarantee, the only way, not me, the only way you could guarantee get a new style book would be if you had a life or death emergency and you had to get a passport in the next like 2 or 3 days, and you went to an actual passport agency with proof of life or death and had to get an emergency issued passport, because
Okay.
all the agencies will be on the new gen passports and they would be printing and issuing pass. That's the only way you could get one. However, don't do that, because you have to have proof of life or death. They're not just going to let you in because you say it, right? That's not the way it works. You have to make an appointment and go in, and don't take spots away from people that definitely need it just because you think you want to get a new passport, but just don't do it. They're pretty good about screening it also.
Business aside.
So you just waste everybody's time. Okay, so back to this. So these are the requirements for this online passport renewal program. I believe that they want to fully get this out and running in 2023. I'm not sure if they had a month that they were trying to do that. I don't want to put a time on them here. Let's see.
I didn't see a time.
Yeah, I thought.
I did
Okay,
find out.
so
if it
here's
was
this lady.
faster,
This lady says it's a pilot program, so there could be hurdles. That's very true. And how fast they can get your passport back to you. I would definitely try this new pilot program if you're not planning on traveling internationally in the next 6 months. That's a very good time frame. I said 90 days, but 6 months is even better. So like I think I think the current one is 8 to 11 weeks, maybe. It's for the time frame to get your regular passport, and then 4 to 6 weeks for an expedited. However, generally October, November, December is a slowdown in passports because people are back to school and holidays, and that's not when a lot of people are applying. So if you ever wanted to get your passport renewed, the holiday season up until like February, from like October to February, is prime time to get your passport.
Really?
Yeah, there's a
I didn't
definite
even think of
downturn.
that. I thought it would be more.
No,
due to the holidays.
Well,
Well, I guess
everybody's home.
if you're
Everybody's
planning
home.
before,
Weather's
yeah,
bad. Yeah. So
yeah, never
October to
mind, I guess.
February is proper time to get your passport, and the wait times to receive your passport back would be shorter. So
Interesting. Okay.
and then what happens in like March is you get those people preparing for spring break, so it starts to creep up,
Yeah.
and then it just throughout the summer it just keeps going up and up and up and up and up, and then it peaks in July-ish and kind of levels off, and then come October, late September it starts to cruise back down, and then November, December there's like almost none, and then yeah, kind of goes through that little thing every year.
Okay.
So, and then COVID was really bad because nobody was traveling, so it was just good. But
So it just tanked.
yeah, it just tanked really bad. So that's another thing. All right, so let's see, what else does she have to say?
Well, and that was one thing that you're kind of highlighting behind us too, is it faster? You would think that it would
No,
be
no,
faster.
no, no.
You're
This is
saying no,
definitely not
it's
faster.
same amount.
Yeah. So okay. So here's the life of an online, or here's the life of a renewed passport, online or whatever. Right? We'll talk about the regular current way right now, not OPR. Is
Okay.
you get your picture, you put it with your application that you filled out front and back, and don't leave spaces blank, and just okay. Put your damn social security number on there, or you're gonna get a letter in the mail asking you to put it
Delayed
down there. So if you don't want it delayed, just write your damn social security number on there. Just do it. Get a passport photo. Go down and pay the $4 damn dollars or $5 to get your passport photo at whoever the hell does at Walgreens, because the stupid ones you take at home with the stupid backgrounds and the glamour shots, and those don't work either. And then you'll just get a letter in the mail that says your photo's stupid and we need a new one. And so just don't.
So true.
It has to have a white background. You can't be wearing a hat. You can't be wearing your big old glasses. You can't be wearing your ear pods or iPods or whatever the hell they're called. You can't be wearing those. Just go to Walgreens. Not Walgreens. Okay, go wherever it actually does passport. I just say Walgreens because I don't think Costco does it anymore. I used to go to Costco.
I don't think they do it anymore. They used to. That's where I got mine done. But I don't think they do it anymore.
I can't remember who does it other than like Walgreens. I'm sure there's a bunch of places,
I think the post office does, don't they? I think your local post office.
Go somewhere, look it up online, go somewhere that does photos. Just trust me, it'll just save you a headache, because you end up with photos like of people, right? Or of this is the photo you get and they have no head, right? Or or the light's so bright and they have white hair and it just looks like this anyway, right? It's just it'll save you a lot of trouble to pay the dollars to have somebody just take it because it's the proper size. Everything will be clear. Won't have any issues. Because what I'm trying to tell you right now will just avoid you from getting a letter in the mail. Okay? Okay.
And it stops from being delayed too.
Yeah. Okay.
But yeah, it's most CVS places do photos.
Okay. So fill the whole thing out. Front and back. Or not front and back, but page 1 and page 2. Just fill it out.
Take your time.
Sign it, please, and date it. Because that's
I can
the
imagine
other one.
all the stuff that these people do.
Yes, because that's the other one that they will send you and you'll have to fill it all out again and sign it and date it again. So sign and date it, please. Okay. All right. So you got it all filled out. You got your photo. You signed and dated it. You put it in the mail and you send it away.
All right. Remember, this is snail mail. It's going to be a week.
And travel.state.gov, go to the passport section, the address, the physical address of where you're mailing the passport will go there. All right. So when it gets mailed, it goes to a clearinghouse, let's say, right? And the check will be processed by the Associated Bank with Department of State, I'm not going to advertise anybody's bank or anything in here. And so they process the money for the department, and then there's a little barcode on the top left corner of the page that they scan, and it does the data entry if you didn't hand fill it out. If you typed it up on the line on travel.state.gov, it'll have a barcode they scan, and everything you put in automatically populates into the system for it. If not,
Nice.
they have somebody that data enters that stuff. And then what it does is it goes to a couple different places depending on workload or what part of the country you're in or whatever. It goes to those places because not every office adjudicates or does DS82 renewals. So it goes there, and then they process the payment, and then it goes to wherever, and then it'll get put into what they call a batch, for lack of a better word, right? At a passport adjudication office. I think there's 27 of them, or 25 of them. I think there's something like that. 25, 27 of them around the nation. And it doesn't necessarily mean if you applied in Utah or Arizona that is going to be the Utah office, which doesn't exist, or the Arizona office that doesn't mean that. It's kind of workload based, right? Like if Miami needs a whole bunch of work and they're next up, then it'll go to Miami. All right, so it goes to an adjudication office, and then it will be first in, first out, right? So it gets put on a shelf from, let's say, September 1st through September 18th. They'll grab the September 1st stuff, and they'll process it that way, right?
Okay.
You have routine work, and then you have the people that paid the $60 expedite fee. If it's $60 expedite fee, that means your processing time's a little quicker. That one takes priority, so they'll try to do those first before they do the other stuff.
That makes sense.
Right.
Okay.
So then, depending on the travel situation and depending on when they adjudicate the application, if people are traveling really soon, it might be printed at that office, or they send it electronically to a print center, where that office, all they do is they don't adjudicate, they just print passports.
You just print?
Yeah, and they can print anywhere from about 60 to 80,000 a day. So depending on, they used to be able to do 40 per shift, so about 80 in a day.
Okay.
I think that's right. It's been a while.
Wow.
So.
That's a lot of printing in one day.
So I mean, that's all they do is they, from 6 o'clock to 11 o'clock is they just print passports. And so that's all they do in that office. And there's lots of people in that office, and they just print and print and print. And no, I'm thinking it was like, now I feel like an ass. So I think they were doing 50 to 55,000 a day is what they were doing. I think it was 25 per shift.
Okay.
That seems.
That's still pretty bad.
And there's two different offices that do that. So that's okay. That's where I was getting the two numbers. They were printing anywhere from 60 to 100,000 passports every day between the two printing offices.
Okay.
And then those printing offices also print and ship overseas to the posts, embassies and stuff, the people that are flying overseas. So they print everywhere and ship everywhere. And so once it gets printed by the agency or the center, that's where it's a slight deviation. If it gets printed by the center, you'll receive your book in the mail, and then later you'll receive a second package from the adjudication office with all your documents.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay.
If it's mailed from the adjudication office, then you'll receive everything all together at the same time.
All in one package. Okay.
Yeah. But
I received two different packages.
So. Right. So most passports are printed at a print center. The local offices usually print their local counter work and don't normally send stuff in the mail unless it's something like a time-sensitive thing where, hey, they're traveling very soon. We're going to print this and ship it out overnight from our office.
Okay.
So it goes from the mail to the bank to shipped out to whatever office, adjudicated at the passport adjudication office, and then printed at one of the two offices, and then it goes to you. And so that's kind of
Interesting.
how that's the
And that's
dummy
the transition. That's a lot.
that's the shortest version of that scenario that I really care to discuss about how that process works. So
Yeah.
you have these places like the post office or the library or these other offices that accept that are passport acceptance offices, right?
Mm-hmm.
And those are for people that are under the age of 16 or have never had a passport before, or their passport's like 20 years old. You have to fill out the DS11 passport application and then go to one of those where they give you the oath. You pay them $25 to execute, give you the oath, and watch you sign, and then they stamp off on it, and then they send it to the bank, which sends it to the office.
Okay.
All right. So that's what those offices are. Okay, I'm going to talk about a third type of office that you should just steer away from unless you're rich. And those are basically third-party offices that say, we guarantee we get your passport quick as possible, blah, blah, blah. And we call those offices couriers.
Okay.
There's a not in every state, but there's a bunch of them. There's a bunch of them in Los Angeles. I'm sure there's a bunch of them in Washington D.C. and some of the other bigger cities that have passport offices in them. And what that is it's basically somebody that'll charge you $300 to $500 for you to have them do what you should do when you just go to the office and execute your application for free at an office and get it at the passport adjudication office. That's all they do. It's just they're doing that for you. The only thing is you still have to go to an acceptance agent, give the oath,
Yeah.
pay them $25, have them stamp on it, then you package it all up and pay the courier office $300 to $500 for them to walk it to the agency so they can get it that day.
Wow.
That's just stupid. So like I said, unless you're rich, don't do that. Just make an appointment with the passport office. Go down there and get it. It'll cost you $60 extra for expedite, and you'll likely get it within 3 days, unless you're traveling the next day or so.
Yeah.
So but the courier office are not associated with the Department of State. You use them at your own risk. And I know there have been reports in the past of some shady stuff going on with couriers, some investigations and other things like that. So like I said, they are a third party. They are authorized 1 or 2 applications a day in some offices. However, it is a third party not associated with the department. So
Interesting. Okay.
be at your own risk with that. It's better just to do
Wow.
it yourself unless you just can't help yourself but pay a whole bunch of money to have somebody do what you should do. But that's on you. All right. So, any other questions
interesting.
about passports? You should always refer to travel.state.gov. I don't know if I said that address or not before, but travel.state.gov is where you should go. If you want to try this online renewal, you have to go and make a My Travel Government account, which means they're going to ask you a whole bunch of questions and a sign-in process and all this other stuff. So you can upload your digital photo. Go ahead.
I was going to say, if you know you're going to do this in, say, a couple years, like myself, I'm going to have to do this. I'm going to end up renewing within about 5 years. Is this something I should go through now? Like, should I create the account now and kind of go through stuff? I don't need to renew, but can I?
If you're not
save
gonna
time?
do the pilot, then I would just wait.
Just stay. Okay.
Yeah, I mean, there's no reason to go and create an account now, unless you want to do this thing. That's the only reason you should do it now, unless you want to do this thing. I don't know, like
There's
what
one
they
thing
don't.
I know right now. I don't want to test with the government.
What they don't talk about right
No.
here is how long it takes you to make a My Travel Government account. I mean, I guess we could do it here, but then I'd have to blank a bunch of stuff out. I don't want to deal with that.
Yeah.
But
I'm going to assume it's going to take you 30 minutes.
Yeah, and I don't even know. I don't even know what the hell they ask you on here. Let's go take a look. Let's see. Let's see what they ask. Click here. Okay, well that's the login part. We don't have a login because we didn't create an account. Start your application must create an account. Okay, create an account. Well, I don't want to sign in. That's interesting. Let's see. Where's the create account button? How do I create my account? You go to... Okay, well... I don't have an account. Sign up. Okay, it's at the bottom. I don't know. I'm just not smart enough to see that. This damn fly is really upsetting me. Okay, so I've read the blah, blah, blah. The privacy hack. Okay, so they ask for your name, middle name, last name, email address, confirm email address, country, street address, where you live, and then password. And then this is going to be a Bane. It's 12 to 24 characters, and it must contain all these special thingies. We are not going to do that just because we're not going to do that. All right, so go to mytravel.gov basically, and now I lost where it goes.
I assume you'll kind of have to.
This is the problem with oh, okay. So mytravel.gov, go here and then request services, and then go to the bottom, hit the sign up, and then you can get your account to go ahead and do the online passport renewal. And then there's got this information about what it is. I did not verify my account within 24-hour time frame, so make sure you verify. Yeah. Anyway, it probably won't take you that long to make the account. What'll take you longer is putting in all your information and make sure it's correct. You will need a good digital photo that's clear, full-faced, no glasses. Make sure you have your full head and face and a regular smile, not exaggerated smile or anything else. A regular smile. Yes, you can smile in your passport photo. Don't let anybody ever tell you can't. I've heard that a million times. You can't smile in your passport photo. You can't do this, right?
Yeah.
But if you just want to...
can't go too elaborate.
You can't exaggerate it. Make sure your eyes are open and visible. So...
You want to be able to see color.
Yeah.
Color of your eyes.
Yeah. So make sure your photo's not black and white. Yes, white background, but not a black and white photo, please. No military uniforms. Nothing that looks like a military uniform. Don't wear your cop uniform or police uniform or any kind of uniform.
No hat, with that being said.
Yeah, it must be able to see your hairline and all that stuff. Don't wear any uniform that looks like you're part of an organization, basically. Because when you travel, other countries look at that stuff, and you may have your stewardess uniform on, and it may look slightly like something else, and they may target you because of the way you look. We tell the same thing as why you don't wear your military uniform or anything like that that identifies you as military. Don't wear your police uniform or something like that. Don't do it, because when you travel, that stuff makes you a target, and they don't want you to do that. So
makes sense. That makes sense. I've never heard that one before. Like I went in just normal clothes. I even think I just wore.
You should go in normal clothes, like whatever you like, the kind of stuff that, like, oh my god, dude, these ladies wear these tops that, like, literally when it's cropped into the photo, it looks like you have no clothes on. Like, it's just embarrassing that it's really bad. And they used to reject those photos and make you get another one, but I don't know that they still do that or not.
Oh gosh.
Just don't like. Just don't. Like, I don't know. Just don't. Just wear clothes that you're gonna wear to get on an airplane,
Just be casual,
right?
dang it.
Just yeah. Just
wear the clothes you would wear when you go work in the yard.
wear the clothes you'd wear that you're gonna get on a plane and travel to another country in, right? For the most part.
Yeah.
And for those of you that would still wear the stuff that you shouldn't wear, even if you're getting on a plane, dress like the people that the rest that are around you, right? That
dress like your neighbor. It's like you can't fix this, right? You can't fix stupid. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I'll say it. I end up dealing with a lot of it too. So.
All right, Mr. Krow, do you have any more like passport questions or about the Online Renewal
was
stuff?
Great.
Or
this was great. This is a good. I didn't know anything about this, and this is awesome. I've currently with my job that I have right now, this was the first time I was ever required to have a passport. So passports are still pretty new to me, and so that's why I was like, oh, this will be interesting. This will be good. So this was very interesting. I didn't, not that I had a painful experience. Mine went very smooth. I had it within my needed deadline. Not that I had a deadline, but I had it at time, and heck, I think I even had it like 4 weeks before I needed it fully. But this is good to know. Just good reminders. So,
like one of the things she says on here, I just saw it. Okay, this program, if successful, will alleviate a lot of headaches and renewing your passport, making it more time efficient and easy to do online. Avoids a lot of headaches when sending your passport and not knowing when it arrives.
yeah, that'll be nice.
So she says,
kind of have an idea.
She says there have been cases where passports have been lost in the mail or stolen, and that statement to me is a little strange because she's talking about sending your stuff to a passport agency.
Mm-hmm.
And lost, maybe. Stolen, I don't really see it stolen from you mailing it into the passport office. Usually when stuff happens is it's in you, it got sent to you in the mail and you didn't check your mail and somebody stole your mail. Right? That's kind of when you would see the stolen passport in the mail type of a thing. The getting it to you part, we super rare. Like you end up with some damaged packages because mail process or something, but but a stolen passport being sent to an adjudication office is kind of non-existent. So somebody would like when your mail gets stolen after the guy drops or after the person drops it off. Your mail person drops it off, right? It doesn't get stolen on the way to the mail center. That's just not usually how that occurs.
Not the case.
Not that it couldn't, but that's not usually how that occurs. So that was one of the things. This process here will not save you any money. Like she makes that comment in here also, and that is just not true. This process will not save you money. It's just not. It's gonna be the same amount. The only money it might save you is the however much the stamp is to mail it. I don't have any idea. I haven't used snail mail in so long.
I don't.
So
I know my wife uses forever stamps.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. And I don't even know how much she pays for those. You know, like I don't use them. I don't.
So that would be the only money you would save. So don't think this is going to be cheaper, right? It's not. It's not going to be any cheaper. The passport so the expedite fee is $60 and I believe The passport card itself is $30 for renewal, and I don't quote me on this part, but I think the passport was $80. It's been a while. I can't remember. These prices are subject to change. They usually do a public comment before they change how much a passport costs. But don't quote me. I think it's $80, but I'm not totally sure about that. So maybe it says it here. Calculate fees. Nope. Passport book. It's $130 now. Wait.
I want to say
No.
I was trying to look mine up. I think mine was like
No. Wait. Oh.
But I also got the ID that you can't use for planes. You can use it like for land and
Yeah.
like the trains and stuff. It's basically like a little, and
This
I think
is
that's an additional fee too.
Oh, okay. So the passport book itself is $130, so it went up. And then
Okay.
the passport card itself is $30. And there's no execution fee because these are renewals, right? You already did the whole oath thing once, after you were 16. And then together, it's $160. And then an expedite fee, if you needed extra, would be another $60 on top of that. That's expedite fees have been the same for a long time. So, so yeah, so you just and so the payment part is online too. I think it says you have to use like a credit card or
I did see that you have to pay with a card.
Yeah, you got to pay with the card. Yeah, so I mean this program will definitely save people time, but not a lot of time, right? Because
it saves people time. It's not saving them. It saves you the time and effort it's taking you physically. Because you're not going to have to. You don't think so?
No, the only time it's saving you is the time it took you to mail your stuff. Because you still have to fill it out regardless, right? So you still have to fill it out. So the whole fill out time is about the same. You don't have to print it and you don't have to mail it. Everything else is exactly the same.
Interesting. Okay.
And you don't have to get a physical photo. I was going to say you don't have to pay for a photo, but they'll probably figure out a way to do a digital, like you go to Walgreens and they give you a digital thing or something. I don't know how they're going to do that.
I wouldn't be surprised if
email it to you or something.
If some way, somehow in the future, I don't know when, but if they could actually start using your camera off of your computer and use the AI enough to tell you that, yes, you are in frame. No, you are not.
So
I think
they've talked about having booths and stuff in offices and things where you could kind of go and do some things, but there's just a lot of angst about the whole photo thing still, is because once this is online, that's the only way to identify somebody, right? And there's still just some angst about that still. Because in the end, a lot of this you're talking about security, right? How do you know somebody's not getting your
That's
information?
exactly I'm exactly going through the same thing. I'm like, I wonder what I could do to physically change my because it's possible. You could change your appearance a little bit, to match.
Well,
especially with some of these silicone
you could
masks
try.
these days too.
And that's the thing is like it's kind of funny because a lot of the way passports were looked at has changed over time, right?
Yeah.
Because for a long time, they were physically gluing passports with an iron onto books, right?
Oh, wow. Okay.
For years. And then they got the different machines that printed it. And now we're on to different machines that are even
laser printers,
that are even more high tech, right? And so the way that passports have been looked at over time has changed with technology. And but with the invention of like computers and stuff, it used to be, well, we look at handwriting. Well, now everything's typed. So right, it's kind of interesting. It's interesting, but it's not something I really want to talk about here because I don't know what I could actually say and can't say.
Yeah.
So, and I don't
Yeah,
want to get
yeah.
caught in that territory. But like how,
No, this
like
is this is just something good.
in the future, how do you get to where um you could go to a booth and sit in the booth and give them your fingerprint and they take your picture and already have your previous passport information in the system, and then you know your book would be mailed to you after that, right? Like, how do you get there? And that's kind of the interesting part for me to watch, is to see, because I remember them talking about stuff like this years and years and years ago.
Yeah.
And now to kind of see it getting actually started, of course, it's very different than what they originally talked about. Because, like I said, they had originally talked about like booths, photo booths, and stuff like that. And now we're getting to where you can type your stuff in and upload a photo, and then we'll look at it and then send you passport, maybe, if we like it.
I think it's interesting too, because like my futuristic kind of look at things, it's like with the security match too, where it would be neat to go to these booths, give them and be able to do all the application, right then and there. Just here's my fingerprints, get really close, and here's my eye.
See, that's the
facial
completely
recognition.
strange thing to me, is like the U.S. passport is a very sought after document, right? And the fact that there are no biometrics in this application process blow me away. It just made but the public is super duper resistant to the government wanting any type of fingerprint or retinal scan or anything that would specifically identify you. It's so and don't get me wrong, it's not that they don't have that right to have that fear, because the government hasn't exactly been trustworthy over the years with people's stuff, right?
Yeah.
And you start giving them, but the thing is chances are they already have your fingerprint.
Yeah.
So for me, I don't understand why voting and passports, you're not giving your thumbprint.
Yeah.
But it's just one of those things that the U.S. public is like, hell no. And so we still don't have that type of thing. It's very strange to me, because I just think that out of all things, voting and passports would be the two things that would have it. But
yeah, no, I agree. There's things that this kind of stuff doesn't make sense to me at times, where I'm like, you're willing to turn your head the other way to give somebody else something to identify you, but yet you'll look at the government and say, oh heck no, you're not doing this. Like, it doesn't make sense to me.
I know, but I mean, that's the government's own creation, because they haven't been trustworthy. And so
oh yeah.
So when that kind of stuff happens, they're like, and then you're like, oh, well, just give us your thumbprint. They're like, no, and all the stuff you pulled, no, I ain't doing it. And you can't blame them. I don't blame them. It's weird to me, but I don't blame them.
It just doesn't make
because I think the government. Because honestly, I think the government should be like, hey, if you want a passport, give us your fingerprint. Sorry.
Yeah,
but
I'd agree. I can agree to that. But
all right, so
anyway,
if you found any of this interesting, please leave a like, leave a comment.
Here,
let me know what you didn't know. Or, if you have a question, then I may be able to answer a question. Don't ask me any specific to your own case questions. If you have a general passport question, please go to travel.state.gov. If you have a question that's not answered on there, you can go ahead and ask me, and I, if I decide that I am able to answer that question, I'll answer it. If I don't feel comfortable, that I feel like it's something that with what knowledge I have, I shouldn't answer, I will just kind of let you know that, hey, I don't feel comfortable answering that question. There's a lot of stuff that I know that I just can't talk about or say because of that. Some of this was kind of generalized, but travel.state has all of your passport questions for the most part. Anything after that is probably an individualized question, and that's where I kind of don't want to get into answering those.
That makes sense too.
Because of it kind of crosses a bit of a boundary of separation for me. So, with that, if you learned anything, let me know. If you didn't learn anything, let me know. Go ahead and leave a like and a comment, and
For sure. Thanks, everyone.
leave it.
Have a good one. We'll see you next time.
All right, much love all.
Thanks.